YouTube, what the crap's going on? Heir of Carthage here, and I've got a couple of awesome guys here. We've got Dutch Skink, who's always hanging out in my Discord, and then Falcon, who's also been in my Discord before, but he's also a competitive player in Warhammer 2, plays in a lot of tournaments, very good player. I've played a couple battles against him myself, and I wanted to show you this battle because he has a brutal Norsca build here that I really like. Hey, thank you for all those who have been subscribing. Hope to see more of you there. We're closing in on that 250,000 subscriber milestone, so thank you for all the support. And by the way, if you paid attention, there's a Steam card down there for someone who was subscribed and getting the notifications. Anyway, here we go. So his Norsca build, what is it? Well, obviously it's situational. This Norsca build won't work against every faction and every situation, but he's playing against the Dark Elves. And the Dark Elves tend to be decent with missile cavalry and kind of a well-balanced build. They're an overall well-rounded faction that can be pretty dangerous against most factions. And so for the Norsca build here that Falcon's got, he's got Wulfric on his Mammoth. He's got a Frostworm, which gives him a little bit of ability to bypass front lines, breath attacks, and then he's got the Mist Stalkers, Famir Warriors, with the very, very good unit here. There's going to be some Marauder frontline backed up by a Marauder Berserker frontline. Marauder Berserkers deal insane damage to anything that's not really high armor, and they can actually do decent damage against armor given a specific situation, but typically going to really excel against non-armored targets. He's got a Famir Balefiend, Lord of Fire, and this one's going to be rocking the Cascading, I think that's Cascading Fire Cloak. Make sure I get it right. It is. It's the Fire Cloak, Flamestorm, and Fireball. That he's going to have there. And then over here for the Dark Elves, we're going to have Lokir Fellheart on his dragon. Not a pick you see every day. Pretty interesting one there. So there's Fellheart. There's a front line, mostly of Blackheart Corsairs, which are pretty good armor. Kind of so-so weapon strength and decent melee attack, but they do get a bonus versus infantry. And then you get the Dark Shards here, which are some nice AP missiles. There's a Witch Elf on either flank, more Blackheart Corsairs, and then we have some Cold One Knights supporting the flanks as well. But watch what happens. Norsca can be very skirmishy, despite the fact that they're not really skirmishy. It depends on the situation. But Marauder Horsemen are very good at being a nuisance. You're going to see them open up this flank, and then check out this Dark Shard here. It turned its side to the Frostworm, who then took a big frosty vomit all over it. And then there was a Viking ship trying to get after these Dark Shards, and immediately you're going to see Wulfric just come hammering in, and then the Marauders kind of tank for the Berserkers, who then come in as a cleanup crew. And it is going to be a brutal hit by Norsca here. Just look how quickly these Blackheart Corsairs succumb to the Mist Stalkers, and then over here the Frostworm combining. It did get caught by the Witch Elves, but the Berserkers came in to assist. And so the Frostworm not yet caught. Lokir lands on the ground over here, and again, just look how nasty these Marauder Horsemen can be. And then we drop in the ability here that slows down. See this minus speed, minus armor, so this Hunter of Champions, brutal. And then a Mammoth already deals vicious damage, and so does Balefiend. And look at this, Frostworm, Balefiend, just this quadro of death here between the four of these, and Lokir gets absolutely owned in this case. And then a Flamestorm was dropped over here, which actually ended up taking out quite a few of Norsca's own troops, but hey, Norsca. So yeah, this is a fight where Falcon shows off what he's capable of doing, and that's no offense meant to Dutch Skink. I've played against Falcon, he is good. And it's fun to play him though, because not only is he good at the game, every time I played him, he would like talk about the builds that we had, and like kind of talk through, you know, what worked, maybe how you could have used stuff better, and it's never in like a condescending way. So I've always appreciated like playing, and I'm talking like I've played with him like all the time, like we're not old. I haven't gotten to play with him a lot, just a few times. I've only been in games with him, but it's always fun. And so anyway, just wanted to show this. I appreciate number one, Dutch Skink always being around in the Discord and being an active member there, and he's always posting replays and playing games with folks. And then Falcon, I always appreciate him dropping through too, because obviously it's fun to have the competitive players in as well, so that you get the chance to have some fun skill test here. And he shows you just how vicious Norsca can be in the right scenario. Norsca, again, they're not a faction that's good against everybody, but in certain situations, they have builds that are just really tough to stop, especially when they're in the right hands. And this is one of those situations where Dutch Skink found himself in a very difficult matchup. I think did his best to try and make the most of it here, but trying to protect these dark shards, there's just too much stuff coming at him, and just kind of the wrong tools for the wrong fight there, in the sense that he wasn't able to use things the way that he wanted. I like some of the pieces of his pick. Like, I like the fact that you have Witch Elves. These can be very handy against a faction that you think might field big monsters against you, especially if you want to get their lord singled out. I'm not sure about the Lokir Fellheart build, but I don't know a lot about Lokir, so that one's a tricky one for me. The Black Art Corsairs don't initially seem like a bad pick, right? Because Norsca usually comes with a lot of light infantry. However, I do think that the Black Art Corsairs probably get their crap handed to them by the Berserkers, because the Berserkers basically double the weapon damage of the Corsairs. I don't know, maybe if you get a good solid charge in, it's a different story. But I almost wonder if you're better off bringing, say, like Blackguard of Nagarond and Dread Spears, because then the Mammoths and the other monsters don't really have a good place to fight. And Berserkers won't do well against Blackguard. So that might be a different way to pick this army if you're going from the Dark Elves perspective. But then again, you know, Norsca can flip things up, and they can bring a heavy infantry build too. It's not very common, but it can happen. And so, again, I don't know, I just wanted to show this. I do have another battle between these two players that's also a lot of fun, so let's jump over to that one. Okay, this is going to be another battle that that Falcon had with Dutch Skink. And this one's going to be Dutch Skink playing as Lord Skrulk in the Skaven here. I'm going to kind of slow-mo it for just a second so we can catch his build. He's got a line of Clan Rat spears with shields, a front line of Skaven slaves. There are some Storm Vermin with halberds in the back, one of which is the Council Guard. Now remember, these guys are unbreakable. There are 2 Warp Lightning cannons, and then there's a Natty Bubo's Sharpshooter, some Rat Ogres, and then an Assassin here supporting old Skrulky. And Skrulk, I believe, has both of his books here, the Liber Bubonicus, or it's not a book, but the Rod of Corruption. And then as for the High Elves, we got an Alethanar build here, which is always actually pretty dang fun. And so he's got the Shadow Walkers joined in with Alethanar, and then a Shadow Warrior right behind him. Now remember, these units are very good in melee if you can expend their ammo against lightly armored units. And when they're in the presence of Alethanar, their missile damage is pretty significantly buffed, depending on what they're being hit by, though, of course. And then there's a Frostheart Phoenix, which this is a tough unit sometimes for Skaven to kill, because of the Frostbite, or is it? No, it's just magical. I thought it did Frostbite attacks. Yeah, Hex area. Okay, it does. So it debuffs melee attack. That's what it was that I was thinking of. So yeah, it's going to debuff melee attack around it, so it can make it kind of hard to kill. It's a fun unit, gets pretty mobile. There's just some standard spears out here, and then we're going to have 3 different Silver Helm units rolling around the battlefield. So basically, if the High Elves want to win, they have to get in, they have to shut down the Skaven skirmishing component. And I love this, like, about Alethanar and the Shadow Walkers and Warriors, that they can just kind of run forward while firing. Really cool way of fighting. I'd love to see more unique stuff like this continue to come to Warhammer. Alethanar is a very unique lord. He's not, like, the best out there, or, like, absolutely amazing at all times. Oh, there's a Heavens Mage here, too, that I just about forgot about. But yeah, in any case, I like seeing him there. He fights different. It makes things very entertaining. And I think that was actually the fake Alethanar the whole time that was leading up that army, which was a pretty cool run by Falcon there. So you can see the Silver Helms here, using the woods to get cover from the artillery as they try and make their way in. And just look what the Shadow Walkers and Warriors have done so far. They've come up and wrecked this Warp Lightning Cannon. The fodder units for the Skaven are being fodder. That's what they do. The Frostheart Phoenix and the Silver Helms have moved around to this flank. The Silver Helms obviously going to be looking for charge situations like this, where they can get a quick knockout blow and then maybe keep moving. So you can see the Frostheart Phoenix meant to keep the Rat Ogres away from the fight for a moment. Then the Mage is going to go in there and help with that as well. It's a nice call. Over here, the Spearmen should be able to hold out against Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves all day long, and then this Silver Helm is going to come out of the woods and actually get a little bit of a hit here on the Warp Lightning Cannon, though I don't think that's what was intended. They're definitely looking to crush this Skaven infantry here, and Silver Helms do have a very punishing charge as long as the unit they're hitting is not particularly well armored. But look at this, man. The Shadow Warriors and the Shadow Walkers are just laying waste to a lot of these units here, and now the Natty Bubos are going to be on the receiving end of some sharpshooting themselves. Such a cool unit. Absolutely freaking love Warhammer. This game is amazing. Anyway, we're going to see some Silver Helms still working over here. The Frostheart Phoenix diving in where possible. Right now it's mixed up with some Storm Vermin. If it could terrorize them, it'd be good, but that's not working, and so it has to get away. And you always got to watch out for Skrulk because of his ability to suck the life out of single entities and blobs that get around him. Skrulk is a very capable lord. These Silver Helms back here gonna get into combat with Harmonic Convergence. That was the spell. I was thinking it was probably Curse the Midnight Wind. Harmonic Convergence is actually kind of like a poor man's Wa from Lore of Heavens that a lot of people ignore. It's a very effective spell and can be used to very good effective effect. Yeah, I know. I'm original, folks. Sometimes you're commenting and then you listen to it and you're just like, no. Anyway, we got a heck of a fight going on right now, and the High Elves have done a really good job of really hitting the Skaven very hard early in this fight, but the damage being taken by the Frostheart Phoenix right now is getting pretty critical. Despite the fact it's being attacked, this cannon continued to fire for quite some time, and this allows the Council Guard a chance to get over here too. Now, this infantry did get mopped up with the help of some Silver Helms, so a lot of Skaven infantry out of the fight, but Skrulk still going strong. And there's a Skaven assassin back here trying to get to some of these Shadow Walkers as well, though he's taking some shots for it. But remember, anything that the Shadow Walkers use their ammo on right now, it's not to say that it won't help. It certainly should. There's a Summon Plague Monk here. Oh man, it's going to hit that nasty Wind Blast off of that Heavens Mage there. That was really nice. Really nice. But yeah, this Council Guard is going to be a mess for the High Elves to deal with. I mean, right now it looks like the High Elves are just rolling over the Skaven, but this is an unbreakable halberd with pretty solid armor, and ammo is running low for the High Elves. And I mean, it's going to be rough. You can't terrorize this thing. So the Council Guard is going to end up being a devastating weapon to help keep Skrulk safe. So Skrulk will probably want to make his way over to that Council Guard. See here, the Heavens Mage trying to take a chunk out of Skrulk, but quickly shut down in that fight. And over here, the Shadow Warriors and Walkers running low on ammo. The Shadow Walkers over here do survive the attack of the Assassin with the help of the Frostheart Phoenix. There's some Silver Helms, and there are a decent number of Spearmen still left. And you're going to see a really nice breath spell from Skrulk there by Dutch Skink that really hurts this spear unit. Takes them completely out of the fight. Yes, he lost the Clan Rats there, but as Skaven, sacrifices have to be made, folks. That's pretty much the way you get stuff done. Now, good thing for the for Falcon, or I think as he has his name in here right now, Felkoff, which is very nice. These guys are going to be brutal in battle, and check it out. They've got the poison weapons and the poison missiles. So, really cool unit. You don't get to see these in battle all that often. Look at those green tips on their swords. I mean, what a unit. They are going to be very effective against most of the Skaven infantry that's left. Not the, well, I say most of it, actually, probably not most of it, because most of it is really this Council Guard. Anything but the Council Guard, those units ought to be pretty effective. And same thing here, I mean, look at the melee stats here, 38, 34, 32 for, you know, the attack, defense, weapon strength. They don't have any charge bonus, but if you get them into melee, kind of like they did here, they're gonna do decently. They're gonna do decently. And if they were low armor units, they'd be doing very well. Now, the Warp Lightning Cannon is actually struggling right now from a leadership perspective. It is putting shots down range. This is not the real Alethanar, though. The real Alethanar has not stood up. Huh? Error. Come on. Oh, no, it is the real Alethanar. I was looking at the wrong line. Anyway, my lame joke stands as still lame. In any case, we're going to see the Clan Rats get taken out. There's some regrouped Ogres here, but I don't think they're going to be able to finish all these Silver Helms and their Spearmen nearby. They get charged in the back. Rat Ogres are a good unit. They do some nice armor-piercing damage. They'll definitely get some damage done here, but yeah, that leadership was where I was worried. Alethanar has picked up 58 kills himself. Ooh, a Summoned Plague Monk. The Elves don't need that right now. I mean, technically these guys are low armor, and, you know, the Shadow Walkers and stuff, they'll cause damage, but the Plague Monks are a full unit, whereas these only start at like 80 units that you can see there. And so, yeah, it would not be a fight that they would relish, probably. Look at this, though. 116 kills on the Shadow Warrior. Pretty dang awesome. Got the Shadow Walkers over here. 136 kills on them. Some impressive fighting on behalf of the both players here. Another Shadow Walker. So there's the 2 Shadow Walker units. This one has 136. This one at 129. That poison's going to be very important here because it will keep some of these units from being as effective. So like this Council Guard being hit by poison be a very big deal. See what it does to them when they get hit. Their speed and then their weapon strength being pulled down. Going to be a surrounding maneuver here by the High Elves in a desperate bid to get rid of what's left of the Skaven, but the Council Guard is not going to rout. And Skrulk, it's going to be very difficult to rout him. He's a pretty tough little rat. So we've got a desperate fight here where both players know that the survival comes down to this. There's going to be another summon by the Skaven. Yeah, and that Clan Rat Skaven's going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad. The Shadow Walker getting surrounded like that is definitely not what they need. A tough unit that can do a fair bit of damage. Look at this. They picked up a chevron and a half. 150 kills. Very impressive, the fight that they're putting up right now against a pretty heavily armored elite infantry unit. But this Clan Rat summoning to their back is going to just be really painful to have to absorb. And then Alethanar here, out of ammo. He's in the fight. Skrulk has pretty good weapon strength here up against Alethanar. Not going to be easy to stop him. Oh man, beautiful game, beautiful fight, awesome players. Absolutely love this stuff. So we'll see here. Can Alethanar pull it off, or do the Skaven hold out in this one? Do the Skaven actually hold out for once? There's just a few Silver Helms that have regrouped back here. Alethanar has taken an absolute savaging. And the Storm Vermin now, though, are going to find themselves fighting 2 different Shadow Walkers, so they're going to be hurting pretty good from the poison, which is going to reduce the amount of damage that they inflict in return. But still, they have the superior numbers here. And then Skrulk is in very good shape, and it's going to be difficult for Aleth to do anything about that. There's some regrouped spears that were away from the fight that are headed back in. This is going to be very important if the High Elves want to have a chance to pull this one back. And then there's some Shadow Warriors coming back into the fight here too. Here comes a charge. Any Storm Vermin they can kill is going to be good for the Elves. Can they pull this one back? Can they kill the Plague Rat? Look at Skrulk just seething with stench and vermin. Oh boy. Here comes the desperate attempt by Nagarite to turn this one around. You can actually see Alethanar kind of cycle charging even though he's on foot. So he's kind of charging in and out of the battle, trying to cause damage to Skrulk. And here comes a Spearman unit. This is going to be in pretty good shape because of their hit points. They still have the martial, I think it's the, what is it, martial prowess? Yeah, so a lot of extra melee defense. So the Skaven going to find themselves in a tough situation. Fortunately for them, Skrulk, like I said, he's quite good here. And you see this right here, this contaminated, taking away leadership. Definitely something that's going to benefit Skrulk. Let you all see up close here. Alethanar again trying to cycle charge Skrulk. He doesn't want to stay in combat with him because Skrulk really is the more powerful melee combatant here. Yeah, you can see Aleth looking for opportunity charges there, charging in, and then trying to get away before he becomes too much of a target. Alethanar is not terrible in a melee with, like, again, low armor units, but he's not really a blob fighter, and he's certainly not going to want to fight against Skrulk, who has really good weapon damage. Here comes another summon for the Skaven. This is very timely for them, very important. Now the Spearman is going to be outflanked. Alethanar finds himself in trouble. The Shadow Walkers have fallen victim to a leadership rout. And the Council Guard and Skrulk appear to be able to stand their ground here in an impressive showing where early on the Elves were just giving it to him. Absolutely giving it to him early in this battle, and then they were able to hang on in the end. The ammo ran out, and not having the right tools when you need them can be devastating sometimes. I mean, look at the kills on some of these units from the Elves too. Just very impressive showing. Love it. And then what a pick here too the council guard. Absolutely clutch. And I like the pick of Skrulk here too. It's very tempting to sometimes go with Ikiclaw. And don't get me wrong, he's a good lord to bring as the Skaven. But in this case, I think Skrulk really paid off. I mean, look at the kills he got and the amount of damage that he can do. And think about the Rod of Corruption and Liber Bubonicus, how that's able to help against the Frostheart Phoenix and then whatever infantry was up around Skrulk fighting. I mean, definitely very handy. The Warp Lightning Cannons did manage to cause a pretty significant amount of damage to the Frostheart Phoenix at one point. Neither one picked up a Chevron during this process, but still fairly impressive nonetheless. But hope you all enjoyed these battles between Dutch Skink and Falcon. Anyway, really appreciate both of them. Like I said, if you ever get a chance, jump into the Discord. Folks like this are in there, and they play, and you don't have to worry. Like, you don't have to come in and say, oh, I don't have any experience. Just come in and tell folks, like, hey, I don't have any multiplayer experience. I'd love to learn how to play. If anybody plays any battles, I'd love to join in. Maybe teach me how. Like, and folks will do it. So don't be scared. Come jump in the Discord, join in. I jump in there and play battles. You all see me posting some of them. It's there to be fun. It's not there to be intimidating, right? It's there to be fun. So make sure you all join. In any case, thank you all for being here. I will have more content for you soon. HeirofCarthage signing out.